If you're anything like I was when my oldest daughter was struggling with sleep, you've maybe found yourself Googling something along the lines of, "How many hours of sleep does my baby need?" You may have also asked your pediatrician a similar question. The recommendations that you will find online and from various experts are wide ranging. Today, I'm going to share my answer to that question. And it's likely not the same answer that you'll find online, and possibly not even the same answer that you'll hear from your pediatrician. If you have a child who is 2 years old or younger, this episode is for you. Hi, I'm Allison Egidi, a pediatric sleep and wellness coach and a mom of two. I love to help parents find solutions. This is How Long Till Bedtime. Today, I'm going to share how much sleep I think is optimal for babies during their first 2 years, both as it relates to their daytime sleep and their night sleep. I don't want you listening today and feeling like you need to take notes or stressing about remembering everything. So I went ahead and created a free guide that includes the key takeaways from this episode. You can listen without worrying about remembering all the numbers, and then grab the free guide in the show notes. All right, let's start with babies under 4 months. I think this newborn group has the widest range of optimal sleep. There's quite a bit of variation baby to baby. When looking at total sleep in a 24-hour period, most newborns are going to thrive with 15 to 18 hours of sleep. Newborns sleep a lot, or at least ideally, they sleep a lot. They have shorter stretches of sleep and shorter wake windows, so their sleep is a lot more fragmented. But all in all, they thrive with quite a bit of sleep, both during the day and during the night. Sleep begets sleep with these little ones, so try to resist the urge to keep your newborn up for long periods during the day, with the hopes that long daytime wake periods will result in longer stretches at night. That can easily backfire because a lot of overtired babies will actually wake more often during the night. I also want to note that newborns aren't ready to be on a consistent nap schedule. The goal is to help them get the right amount of sleep in that 24-hour window, but each day may look a little bit different. If your little one is struggling with daytime sleep, shoot for shorter wake windows, ideally no longer than an hour and a half. And for many, particularly during the first 3 months, those ideal wake windows will be quite a bit shorter than that. Now, let's move on to the 4 to 5 month group. Once babies reach 4 months, I like to see babies getting 14 to 16 hours of sleep in that 24-hour period. The allocation I work towards is 11 to 12 hours of sleep at night and 3 to 4 hours of sleep during the day. Between months 4 and 5, that day sleep may be split between 3 or 4 naps. And your baby may still be going down well based on wake windows, or they may have a more consistent nap schedule that's based on nap start times. Once a baby reaches 5 months, I like to see them getting that 11 to 12 hours of night sleep and that 3 to 4 hours during the day. Between 5 and 7.5 to 8 months, I like to see babies on that consistent 3 nap schedule. So that's 3 to 4 hours of day sleep spread across 3 naps. And by 5 months, I really like to have shifted fully away from wake windows, and I like to find a baby's ideal sleep rhythm. So, what is the time that they go down well for nap 1, the time they go down well for nap 2, and the time they go down well for nap 3? You want those times to be roughly consistent day to day. Between 5 months and 12 months, there really isn't much, if any, reduction in a baby's optimal amount of sleep. But there is a nap transition that happens right around 7.5 to 8 months. While every baby is a bit different, that's the window where I typically see a smooth transition from dropping to 2 naps away from the 3 naps. Even when that transition happens, I still want to see 11 to 12 hours at night and 3 to 4 hours of sleep during the day. Once that third nap has been dropped, a baby's total sleep in the 24-hour period may reduce a little bit, but it shouldn't be too much, definitely no more than 30 minutes. And it's very common that there's no reduction. So, what that might look like, since we're dropping a whole nap, is that they either start to sleep a little bit longer at night. So, maybe if they were sleeping 11 hours, they're now going to sleep 11 hours and 15 minutes or 11 and a half hours. And or one or both of their 2 remaining naps may get a little bit longer. So that third nap is typically that shorter bridge nap. It's not very long. And oftentimes, the length of that nap, that amount of sleep, is reallocated somewhere else. Or there is a small reduction in a baby's total sleep in the 24-hour window. Now I want to talk about the 12 to 15 month window. This is when I typically start to see the most noticeable reduction in sleep needs. And it's the window of time and the reduction that is most likely to confuse parents or throw them off because it throws babies' sleep off. This developmental change often catches parents off guard, and it can sometimes lead to them dropping to 1 nap prematurely before their little one is ideally ready. I find that most babies transition down more easily to 1 nap when that transition happens in the 15 to 18-month window. Most often, I would say it's closer to 15 months, but I certainly work with babies who keep the 2 naps easily until closer to 18 months. But between 12 and 15 months, the optimal amount of total day sleep actually reduces from that 3 to 4 hours per day to 2 to 3 hours per day. Typically, the drop is about 30 to 60 minutes. So if your child had historically been sleeping 3 hours each day, between 12 and 15 months, they may drop to 2.5 hours or maybe even down closer to 2 hours of total day sleep. Their optimal amount of night sleep should still be 11 to 12 hours. I don't want to see that decreasing. So, if you're seeing a reduction in the total amount of night sleep that your little one is getting in this window, that may be an indicator that you actually need to proactively cap their naps a little bit, cut them back to get the allocation right again. Once a child has transitioned down to just 1 nap, again, ideally I like to see that transition happen between 15 and 18 months. I find that the optimal balance is 11 to 12 hours of sleep at night and an hour and a half to 2.5 hours of sleep during the day, consolidated into that one midday nap. I think most toddlers do best with a nap that's 2 to 2.5 hours long, but there are some that I work with that struggle to get that midday nap to last longer than an hour and a half. If your child is under the age of 2 and is napping less than 2 hours, I would really like to see them trending towards 11 and a half to 12 hours of night sleep. So again, this is a period where sometimes we have to reallocate a little bit. If you have a child who is under the age of 2 years old, I hope that you found this episode helpful. And I definitely encourage you to grab the free guide that I created for you that summarizes everything I mentioned here. It's called Infant and Toddler Sleep Ideal Hours by Age, and you can download it through the show notes or at sleepandwellnesscoach.com/episode 107. As always, thanks for listening. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to How Long Till Bedtime. To learn how we can work together to improve your child's sleep, please visit sleepandwellnesscoach.com.